Howdy mates, good afternoon. How are we doing today on this Tuesday, June 4th, 2024? Bit of a different landscape, wouldn't you agree? It's definitely a little more chilly, I'll give it that, and yet I'm still wearing shorts. How ironic. That sounds like something I would do, because, you know, I already did it. Welcome to the Grand Teton National Park, one of the few designated parks in western Wyoming. We're actually really close to the border of Idaho, or Idaho, whatever your preference is. So, the Grand Teton is another great example of a geologic process of uplift that occurred millions of years ago. But a fascinating thing is the rock itself, which is a form of granite, is a couple of billion years old, but yet the mountain chain itself is only just a few million years old. So even though the rocks are really old, the mountain formation is still fairly young, as it were. Now, even with it being in June, you can see that it's still filled with snow. Pretty much the ecosystem that you're seeing is alpine. And such an ecosystem is known to be very, what you call, barren. Very desert-like. Because majority of the year it does stay cold up there. But yet, down here, there's no snow. But it's quite neat to just see that contrast within a very reasonable setting in terms of distance here. It's like a fine line, as you can tell. But essentially what happened is the continental plates, they collided with one another. And what happened was, it was kind of like a ladder, in a sense. Or I shouldn't say a ladder. It was like a stair step. So basically the landmass that I'm standing on, what it did was, okay, let's say my fingers are two separate continental plates. What happened was, let's say the one I'm standing on is my pointing finger, and then my middle finger is the mountain range. What essentially happened was it collided, and then it went, and that's how you have the Grand Tetons as a result. And just in front of me here is Jackson Lake. And what that came from were glacial moraines that created meltwater. And this is just a small little section of Jackson Lake. It's quite an extensive water body. But you will usually find lodgepole pine up here as a common conifer. And some of the wildlife that you'll see here can include moose. And I just recently read this one because it actually relates to my pops here. There is a small rodent called a pika. And the pika provided the inspiration for the character Pikachu in Pokemon. But then it's also the name of my dad's cat, because just like Pikachu, she has a little curve in her tail. Kind of like a lightning bolt. That's hilarious. It's just how we came up with the name for his cat. But either way, I'm just very grateful to have the opportunity to come up here. So, all right, you guys, take care. Have a good one.